Welcome back to another deep dive with us. This time we're looking at something a little different. You reached out about a potential investment opportunity in industrial real estate and sent over some documentation about a property. I have to say I was pretty intrigued.
Yeah, it definitely piqued my interest too. When it comes to industrial real estate.
It all starts with location, right?
Absolutely, location, location, location.
And this one seems like it could be in a really strategic spot.
Yeah.
The address is 7702 Industrial Lane in Temple Terrace, Florida. And they're calling this a prime industrial opportunity. But I'm curious, what makes a location prime when we're talking industrial real estate?
Well, you hit the nail on the head. It is all about location. It's all about access and connectivity. Think of it like the circulatory system of a business. You need goods flowing in and out efficiently. And this property, well, let's just say it's practically a transportation hub. It's just a few miles from major highways like I-75 and I-4, not to mention the port of Tampa Bay. And you want to talk about air travel. Tampa Executive Airport is a short hop away.
So we're talking trucks and ships and even air freight. This property is set up for success no matter how the goods are coming or going.
Exactly. And there's another layer to this location that's really interesting. It's practically next door to an Amazon distribution center. And that's not just a coincidence.
Okay, now that's interesting. So how does being close to an Amazon facility make this property more valuable?
Well, think about the explosive growth of e-commerce. Amazon is a major player in that space, right?
Yeah.
And they need a vast network of distribution centers to get products to customers quickly. Being close to one of those hubs puts this property right in the heart of that flow, that logistical flow.
So it's not just about physical proximity. It's about tapping into the power of that e-commerce network.
Precisely. This property could potentially benefit from what we call spillover demand, attracting businesses that want to be close to the action, maybe even working directly with Amazon or its supply chain.
That makes a lot of sense. Kind of like setting up shop next to a busy highway. You're bound to get more traffic.
Yeah.
But let's dive into the property itself a little bit. The documents mention 2 buildings, totaling over 10,500 square feet. What did that tell us about the potential here?
Well, flexibility is key in industrial real estate. And having multiple buildings means that a potential buyer has options. They could use one building for warehousing and another for light manufacturing, or even lease out a portion for some additional income.
So instead of being limited to a single use, this property allows for a more diversified approach.
Exactly. And, it also provides room for growth. If a business starts to expand, it has the space to scale up its operations without having to relocate.
That flexibility, that's huge, especially for a business that's in growth mode. But there's one more detail in these property documents that really caught my eye. One of the buildings has showroom space. You don't see that every day in an industrial property?
That's right. Yeah, it is a unique feature. Most industrial properties are all about functionality. Loading docks, high ceilings, ample storage. But this showroom, it really adds a layer of versatility.
It's almost like blurring the lines between industrial and commercial real estate.
Yeah.
What kind of possibilities does that open up for potential buyers?
Well, it could be a game changer for businesses that want to showcase their products, directly to clients. Imagine a manufacturing company that can now invite customers to see their products in action right there on site.
It's a built-in marketing tool. Instead of just shipping out products, they can create a more immersive experience.
Exactly. And it's not just about showcasing products either. It could also be used for client meetings, training sessions, or even, small-scale retail operations. It really expands the potential uses of the property.
And speaking of potential product, the documents emphasize that this property is a prime investment opportunity in a high-growth area. We've talked about location and building features, but what makes Temple Terrace such a hot spot for industrial real estate?
Well, the Tampa Bay region as a whole is experiencing tremendous economic growth, and Temple Terrace is right in the thick of it. We're seeing population growth, job creation, and a surge in demand for goods and services, all of which fuel the need for industrial space.
So it's not just about finding a good property, it's about finding a property in a market with strong fundamentals.
Exactly. And when you consider this property's proximity to the Amazon distribution center, it's clear that they're capitalizing on that massive growth of e-commerce. And that's a trend that's only going to continue, which further strengthens the long-term value of this investment.
That's a great point. But before we get too carried away with all this potential, let's talk about the other side of the coin for a second, the risks. Every investment comes with some level of risk.
Right.
So what are some potential downsides investors should consider with this property?
That's a crucial question. One thing to keep in mind is that the industrial real estate market can be cyclical. While the Tampa Bay region is currently booming, there's always a possibility of an economic downturn that could impact the demand for industrial space.
So even with a strategically located property, there's no guarantee of smooth sailing.
Exactly. And another factor to consider is the potential for increased competition. As the area grows and more businesses move, the demand for industrial space could push prices up, making it harder to find tenants or achieve those desired returns.
It sounds like due diligence is paramount. Investors need to carefully analyze market trends, vacancy rates, and rental projections to get a clear picture of those potential risks and rewards.
Absolutely. And it's not just about market factors. The property itself needs to be thoroughly vetted. Things like the age of the buildings, the condition of the infrastructure, and any potential environmental concerns need to be carefully assessed.
That's where having a good team of experts comes in handy. Real estate attorneys, environmental consultants, property inspectors, they can all play a vital role in helping investors make informed decisions.
I couldn't agree more. Navigating the world of industrial real estate requires a solid understanding of market dynamics, legal considerations, property-specific factors. It's not something to be taken lightly.
It sounds like investing in industrial real estate requires a balance of optimism and caution, right? Got to be excited about the potential, but also realistic about the risks. But let's zoom out for a minute. Think about the bigger picture here. We've talked a lot about e-commerce driving the demand for industrial space. What other trends are out there that might shape the future of this sector?
Well, that's a great question. The industrial real estate landscape, it's constantly evolving. One trend that's already making waves is automation. Robotic systems in warehouses, self-driving trucks for logistics, even drones for delivery. These technologies, they're changing the way goods are stored, transported, and delivered.
So the property itself might be less about square footage and more about how well it can integrate these new technologies.
Exactly. Investors need to think about how a property can adapt to these advancements. Is there enough power capacity for sophisticated robotics? Are the loading docks designed to accommodate those autonomous vehicles? These are the kinds of questions that will become increasingly important.
It's almost like future-proofing an investment. You're not just looking at what works today, but what will work 5, 10, even 20 years down the line.
Precisely. And another trend to watch is this growing focus on sustainability. Companies are under pressure to reduce their carbon footprint, and that extends to their real estate choices. Properties with energy efficient, feature solar panels, green building certifications, those will become more attractive to tenants and investors alike.
So this seemingly simple industrial property in Temple Terrace has opened up a whole conversation about e-commerce automation sustainability and the future of real estate. It's incredible how interconnected everything is.
That's the beauty of real estate. It's not just about bricks and mortar, it's a reflection of larger economic, technological, and social trends. And for investors, understanding those trends is key to making smart decisions.
Absolutely. But as we wrap up this deep dive, let me leave you with a final thought. We've discussed how e-commerce and automation are reshaping the industrial landscape. But what about the human element? How might the rise of remote work and this changing nature of the workforce impact the demand for industrial space in the future? It's something to ponder as you evaluate this opportunity and consider the long-term implications of your investment. Thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.